Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mindful Monday. And I just want to say that I really wanted to do this live this evening, but unfortunately, my webcam is just not turning on. And this is my second attempt to go live, and I have it up here in front of me. I'm supposed to be going live right this minute as it's 11 p.m. And I also tried at 10 p.m. because I really wanted to just go live and be able to chat with some of you out there. But nevertheless, we're going to continue, and I'm just throwing my phone here on the tripod here in my kitchen where I was supposed to go live, and I'm still going to go through all the topics that I was talking about: when to meditate, how to meditate, when to meditate, how to meditate, and why to meditate, and also my own personal story. So I think first of all, what I was intending on doing was actually just giving you a little bit of background of myself, how I fell into meditation. And that was back in 2008, and it was completely accidental. I had no intention of learning to meditate. I didn't know what meditation was, so it was a brand new experience for me. And the reason that I actually came to practice meditation was through yoga, and that yoga was Kundalini yoga at the time. It was a practice that I had found while I was off work, sick actually. For about a week and a half, I had, at the time, I had got very sick. I had contracted some kind of lung infection, which the name of it was pleurisy actually. So it's like a very deep lung infection. And anyway, basically I couldn't breathe, and I was in so much pain that I had to take, I think it was nearly a week and a half off work at the time. And I actually had been to work with it, and I just literally, with the pain, I just couldn't stand it. That they actually told me to just go home and take a week off. But that was grand anyway, so I was off at home. And I remember at the time, this was back in 2008, and I just moved to Cork. I think it was 2 years prior. And I'd been working very hard since I had moved here. And my daughter was young as well at the time, and I was married, and my husband was working full time. So we were very busy, and I was working for a technology company at the time, and we were doing a lot of overtime there. So I would be doing 12-hour shifts, which I really enjoyed and I loved, because I really enjoyed the work that I was doing. And I also was doing some part-time work there in the reception. So I really enjoyed the work, but at the same time, I suppose I didn't really have much time for myself to unwind, and I really didn't have a relaxation practice. So I suppose life sometimes, it just comes, and it bites us on the butt, shall we say, and we have no choice but to slow down. So on the first day that I had been off work, I was totally bored and totally didn't know what to do with myself, because I was the type of person that I was always very active and always doing something. And this infection that I had, the pleurisy, had given me no choice but to rest and to lie down. So of course, like anybody else, I didn't really know what to do with my time. So the first thing I did was turn on the television, because I just wanted to distract myself from this pain and from this horrible feeling of not being able to do anything. And really, it was so painful that I could barely move at the time, So I was flicking through the channels, and I saw there was this channel called Body and Balance, and it was all about different exercises that you could practice at home. So I saw this lady, her name was Maya Fence, she's quite a famous lady now for practicing yoga. But then what happened was I ended up watching her practice, which was Kundalini yoga for detox and de-stress. And the reason I was drawn to it was because she said it was very good for the lungs. So I was like, okay, maybe this can help me. Once I'll be able to get on my feet, I could start to practice this and increase my health and my lungs, improve them, my breathing. And so basically, anyway, I watched it for I think 1 or 2 days, and I think the third day I started to practice myself with her. So she was doing this practice twice a day. It was once in the morning and once in the evening. So while I was off work, I would say on the third day I started to practice with her, and I started really gently. I did what I could do, because it was a 45-minute practice at the time. So I was watching her, and I was trying to do some of the poses and the breath work. And it was really the breath work that I was enjoying most. And she also used mantra. So this is also how I was introduced to breath work and mantra and meditation. So at the end of the session, she started to play soft music basically, and she had Deepak Chopra guide you into a meditation. And that was my first encounter also with listening to Deepak Chopra. I really didn't know who he was. And so I started to continue that practice for many years, and this practice became so enjoyable. And you know, from there I kind of started to research and to get more into meditation and also into mindfulness. So I was reading a lot of books of Thich Nhat Hanh, and I read a lot about Wayne Dyer and many other spiritual practitioners out there and authors. And I also practice more and more yoga. But what I will say was I also practice yoga in classes outside the home. But for me personally, I really enjoyed practicing at home. So really it depends on the person. But anyway, getting back to the meditation. So from there, from the yoga, I started to decide that maybe I would start to do meditation more often, as in maybe practice in the morning or in the evening. So I started to go onto YouTube and I started to find different meditation teachers. And later on, I started to find more and more. It was becoming more and more popular. So I found Deepak Chopra, and later on I found Jason Stevenson, which a lot of you will know if you're into meditation. And if you're new to meditation, his channel is amazing. This is a place you should really go if you really want to start meditating. So really I started my meditation practice through yoga. So really the breath work was the first thing that really got me in contact, we'll say, with going within, and also the different poses in yoga. So if there's anybody practicing yoga out there, then really you are practicing a meditation also, but you're practicing it in movement. So, you know, there's many different ways that we can practice yoga. And my own experience was that when you practice yoga, that, you know, it really does enhance your meditation. Because what I found was at the end of the session, it was very easy to go in internal, say, to be able to feel the body, to be able to sense all the amazing energy that you feel through the body after doing so many different movements. You know, and I think really you could apply this to any exercise. Even if you went out cycling and we'll say you came home and you decided to start meditating, I think also you could feel this. You know, it's just if you lie there and you start to sense the energy in your body after you do some movement or exercise, it's amazing how alive you feel and how you can feel all the energy through your arms, through your legs, especially straight after you do an exercise. So that's a tip for anybody out there that if you want to start practicing meditation, even after doing exercise, it's a great time. You know, and I don't really hear many people saying that unless they're practicing yoga. But for myself, when I cycled a lot to and from work, you know, I used to always practice meditation on coming home from work. You know, this was before I had my younger kids, which I'm going to be getting on to as well with mindfulness meditation. And for me, it was very easy to slip into meditation from practicing yoga, practicing breath work. And even after, we'll say, cycling, or even after work or prior to going to work, first thing in the morning. So what I will say with meditation, it really comes down to consistency. And they really say that it takes at least 21 days for any, we'll say, ritual, whether that's changing your diet, practicing meditation, or starting new exercise, for the mind and the body to really get in sync with it, and for it to go into the subconscious mind also. So please keep that in mind. If you are going to start meditation, that consistency really is key. And, you know, really as well, what I'm going to go on to next is when to meditate. This was one of the things I wanted to talk about. Now, for me, this has really changed throughout, we'll say, my journey. Like I said, I started in 2008, and it was very easy for me at the time because I had only one child. And so it was easy for me once she'd gone to bed at night, I could meditate. I could meditate first thing in the morning, as she was at a good age. You know, she was between 3.5 and 4. So what I would say is that when you have younger children, sometimes when they're newborn, we'll say, it's easy as well, because you can set your alarm and you can do your meditation in the morning, and you can do it at night when they're going to sleep. But what I do find when they get to the toddler stage, we'll say if they're coming into your bed in the morning, or if you set an alarm, it can be quite difficult to have a meditation practice. So what I am saying is that really you have to tailor your meditation practice around your lifestyle, and there really is no wrong or right way to do it. So what my suggestion would be, if you are finding it hard to, we'll say, manage a meditation practice, if you're a mother or a father at this time, or if you're just somebody who wants to start meditation, the best way really I would say is to maybe start at nighttime prior to going to bed. So my advice would be really to switch off all technology maybe an hour prior to going to sleep, so that the mind can naturally wind down, or even just to dim the lights, maybe light some candles, just to get yourself in the zone when you're just starting meditation. You know, it's really nice to kind of get the body in the zone, to get the mind in the zone, or even just take a shower or a warm bath, or even just a foot bath. You know, simple things like this can really enhance your experience. All because you're taking the time for self-care and just getting yourself to wind down. So really, when to meditate is very, very individual, I think. And of course, you'll hear many meditation masters say first thing in the morning and at the evening. So really, when you wake up first thing, the mind is clear, you know, you're just waking up and you're still in that very relaxed state. You know, you haven't got into the stress of the day. So the reason they say first thing in the morning is so that basically, you know, your mind is fresh, and if you've had a good night's sleep, you know, you're going to have more benefits from your meditation practice. So of course, if you are somebody who has no children, then there are no excuses. I hate to break it to you. Setting your alarm maybe an hour prior to getting up, and just putting aside maybe 10 to 15 minutes to start off, just really maybe with a guided meditation, or if you're practicing breath work. For me personally, I think breath is a great way to start, which I did make a whole video about last week on last week's Mindful Mondays. You can go back and watch that if you're interested to learn more about breath work. But you can just start by monitoring your own breath, and that's simply just by inhaling through the nose, and you can exhale through the nose, or sometimes some people recommend to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So when you're doing that first thing in the morning, all you do really is, when you're taking the breath in, you just make sure that you're feeling the breath all the way through to the chest, that your chest is expanding and your belly is expanding, and really giving it such a deep breath in that you can feel it the whole way into the body. So you're really concentrating on the breathing and the senses. You know, this is really what's so important about when you're practicing breath work with meditation. So this is a natural way to start a meditation if you don't want to have the bother of playing music. Maybe you don't want to disturb other people in the house, or maybe you have young kids sleeping in the next room or beside you. So this is an easy way that you can just mindfully start to practice meditation. Now, if you want to really get into the meditation practice and you want to have sound, or you want to be guided, this is another fantastic way to start meditation. And this is something as well that I said I'd go through on the live, was a guided meditation, mantra and mindfulness. So we'll get into that as well. So guided meditation basically is where you find a meditation master, we'll say, or a practitioner on YouTube or on the internet, and you can download maybe the meditation to your phone, or maybe you go out and buy a CD, or you download an MP3, totally down to yourself. And basically just play the meditation first thing in the morning. Sit up in your bed, I would suggest, so that you don't fall back to sleep. And my suggestion would be as well, maybe go with a mindfulness meditation, maybe some breathing, you know, or a body scan. Because with the body scan, you can keep the eyes open, and you can sit up in your bed and you can start to be guided through the body scan, which you can find everywhere here on YouTube. And once you hear a body scan a couple of times, this is something that you can actually do on your own, you know. And I think this is the real purpose of meditation, is to, when first we start to learn it from other people, or we get guided, and then we start to master our own breath, and we start to master it ourselves, you know. And this is so important. This is where we really want to get to with meditation, is to be able to guide ourselves into it. But it is a beautiful experience also to be able to surrender, to let somebody else to guide you through it, so you can just totally relax. So if you are going to start in the morning, I would say do it with eyes open so that you really get the benefits from it. So you'll also be able to not fall asleep, especially if it's your first time meditating. Whereas if you're going to choose to do it at a time where maybe you don't have to go to work and you're free, maybe that's the afternoon for you or in the night time before you go to bed, then it's totally fine. Then you can close your eyes, you can sit in your bed if you prefer to, or you can lie down. Sometimes body scan is lovely when you lie down, and I think the body scan is amazing before you go to bed at night, before you fall asleep, because it really starts to wind down the whole body. What a body scan is basically, it's getting you in touch with all the senses in the body, and also where you may have slight stress in the body, because which I'll be going into in a minute, why meditation. So for a lot of us, if we're working full-time or if we're busy moms or dads, we are going to have certain tensions in the body or in the mind. So it's really lovely to be able to go to bed at night, whether you choose to go with a guided meditation, with a body scan, or maybe just music, and somebody guiding you will say like a forest meditation, or a de-stress meditation, or a relaxation meditation, or find your purpose meditation. There are so many out there. It really is magnificent. All the meditation people that I've mentioned earlier, like Jason Stevenson or Deepak Chopra, if you go into channels or if you research different meditations, you will see amazing meditations, guided meditations that you can practice yourself. So it really is down to whatever it is that you need, that you feel that you need to improve in your own life. It's for a lot of people, it's stress. They just want to de-stress, or maybe for another person, it could be that they have pain in the body. And a lot of people who practice mindfulness meditation will have a lot of stress in their lives, or they just want to learn how to be able to come into their bodies and to be able to sense wherever it is they have pain in the body, and to be able to kind of become aware of it, but at the same time not focus on it. To be able to surrender and let go of it, or to be able to just decrease their own pain. And hypnosis as well is another fantastic way that you can add to your meditation practice. And I used this myself as well before, but I'm not going to jump on straight there into that for a moment. I just want to continue with what I was saying about going to sleep at night. So what I would choose maybe for starting out, before you go off to maybe finding your purpose, relaxation, if you want to get everything into one, we'll say maybe you've pain in the body, or maybe you want to relax, or you want to distress, or maybe you're a busy parent, or you're a full-time worker. Really, a body scan is the way to go, I think, personally, from my own experience. Now, I have been meditating over 10 years, so I'm really trying to give you the best tips that I can for people who just want to start meditate, or for people out there who are meditating, or maybe it hasn't worked for you. So yeah, a body scan is simply where they're going to ask you to sit in a chair, or sit in we'll say a lotus pose if you're comfortable with that, depending on the person, or lying down on your bed. So we'll say it's for you going to sleep at night. So what you will be doing is lying on your back, and sometimes you can place your hands out, we'll say like this, on the bed, which will be touching your bed. And or else you could also place the hands on the tummy area, which is fantastic for being able to monitor your breathing. Because what I found for me when I started meditating, I would always place my hands first onto the chest to be able to feel the breath, the inhale in the chest, and then I'd place it onto the tummy area to be able to feel the inhale as well in the tummy area. So then I knew that I was getting a full breath in, and then when I'd release it, I could feel it releasing from the tummy area and releasing from the chest area. So all it is taking your deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, or some people like to just do it through the nose. It's really down to the person. So going back to the body scan, basically they usually start at the head. So they will tell you to start to relax all the muscles, we'll say around the forehead, and they could go down to the temples, and then they'll tell you to relax your eyes, and to relax all the muscles around your eyes. And it's amazing when somebody is talking you through this, how powerful it actually is, especially if you're new to meditation. It's not something that comes naturally to every single person, I do feel, and I don't think it came naturally to me, it was really something that was that came through consistent practice and also monitoring the breath. So that's why I keep going back to the breath all the time, because I really feel it's so important. But anyway, they'll talk you through the body scan the whole way down to the through the body. They'll go down through the arms, through the chest, through the abdomen, through the hips, through the thighs, through the legs, down to the feet, and they will bring it all the ways back up, and they'll finish it, again with some breath work, and it really is fantastic. It's an amazing way to be able to relax and distress after a long day. Now, what I want to also say is, when you start meditating, and if you are going to start in the evening time, maybe you're a very busy parent or you're busy working and you're just starting off and you don't really want to start in the morning time, maybe you feel that the evening is the best way to start. You may fall asleep through the first couple of sessions of a body scan, and that is totally normal. This is a sure sign that you really needed it. I just want to say that to put you at ease, to let you know that it's completely normal that sometimes you may fall asleep. This is your body's way of saying to you that you really needed this relaxation. And also, if you're in pain and it does help you to fall asleep, then I think that is absolutely amazing. It's a winner all round, really. So this is why I would say in the morning, if you're deciding to practice a body scan, or you want to practice a guided meditation, or maybe you just want to start with your breath, please keep your eyes open starting off. And then when you start to be able to really practice without, we'll say, falling asleep, obviously keep your eyes closed. It's going to definitely improve the experience of meditation, and it will create more relaxation in the body. Now, in saying that, you could also just set a timer if you are worried that you'll fall asleep, or set an alarm. So you can also do that if you do really want to do a guided meditation with your eyes closed. It's really down to the individual. But personally, I feel that keeping the eyes open, maybe just monitoring the breath, and what I'm going to go on to next is practicing adding a mantra to that. So if it was the morning, we'll say, and I was new to meditation and I wanted to start practicing, then I definitely would start with the breath. And if I was not going to be doing the body scan straight away and I decided to keep that for the evening to relax, then I would add mantra, because the beauty of the mantra is that it really keeps us in rhythm with the breath, and it keeps us in rhythm with the senses. So when we start to breathe through the nose, we silently chant the mantra so. And then when we're breathing out, once we've felt the breath in the chest and in the body, and we start to release it through the abdomen and the chest, then we recite the mantra in our mind, hum. So hum. In Vedic and in Hindu, this is a Hindu mantra basically, and it's Vedic, it's from Sanskrit. And what it means in Sanskrit is I am. And also in Vedic, it also means, it has the same meaning as I am with the universe. So, it can be used in many different ways. It has many different meanings. This is something that you can Google yourself. There are many mantras out there. So I invite you to Google some mantras yourself. If you feel you'd like to learn some more about mantras, they're very interesting, and there are so many amazing mantras out there. But I think the easiest one to start off with, from my own personal experience, is so hum. And this is something as well that you can chant, which is beautiful as well. Like I've spoke about on previous videos, sound as well is very important. So even if you wanted to do this with your eyes open, you can breathe in and do so, and breathe out and say hum, So it can be very powerful that way as well, because there's something very empowering about using our breath, using our voice, and the whole vibration from both together, that we're feeling that and sensing that in the body. We're also hearing it and feeling it at the same time. So it can be very beneficial for meditation. Mantra is a great way, as I said earlier, as in tracking the breath and really going in. So if we close our eyes in the morning, and we'll say we set a timer if we need to, and even if we just do this for maybe starting off, maybe 1 to 3 minutes, and then build it up to maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you think you can do first, you know. But my main thing is, again, it has to be consistent. So that's the most important thing. So basically just adding the mantra, just first starting with your breath and then adding the mantra, Soham. For me, mantra was very, very important, and I found it was the only way that I could stop the thoughts, you know, when I first started practicing yoga. You know, even though I was getting in touch with the breath, you know, that was fine getting at the start, but then I started to thinking. A lot of people as well count, like let's say 1 in with the breath and 2 out with the breath, you know. Or you can also practice taking a deep breath in for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4 seconds, and releasing the breath on 4 seconds. This is also a very popular one. Also, I remember going to a conscious concert many years ago, and I forget the name of the lady, but she's very popular for doing meditation, and she does some tantra as well. So I remember the breath work that she used with us actually was on the count of 8. So really breathing in on the count of 8, holding on the count of 8, and releasing on the count of 8. And you can also recite your mantra with that in your mind. So it really is trial and error, and it's something that you really have to practice to see what works for you. So all I'm doing for you this evening is really sharing with you all the different things that you can practice. And really it's down to you as an individual to figure out if you need to just do breath work, or you need to add a mantra to that, or maybe some people for counting. It really is down to the individual, and there is really no wrong or right way about it. You can also enhance your meditation by playing music in the background. You know, some gentle yoga music, or some meditation music of your choice. Or you can, like I said earlier, just choose to be totally guided. You know, but I really do think that mastering meditation is really being able to do it on your own. But for starting off, yes, guided is absolutely amazing. And this is how I started myself. I was asked this question on the last video that I made, so I feel like that it's important to address it. And really guided meditation is absolutely fantastic, because you really don't have to worry if you're doing something wrong or doing something right. Now, in saying that, even with guided meditation, many people think they're not doing it right. And let me just say to you, you cannot go wrong. And even if you do start thinking about things, or whether you're doing this in the morning or in the evening or in the afternoon, or wherever you feel that you have a free space in your day, once you just practice meditation daily, it really doesn't matter when you do it or how you do it, once you're practicing. So that could be through breath work and mantra, or that could be just solely through breath work, or that could be through a guided body scan, or that could be through another guided meditation of your choice, and maybe for anxiety, or for calm, or for relaxation, or for finding your purpose, or for improving your health, or it could be positive affirmations. There are so many out there to choose from, and there are so many meditation videos here on YouTube as well by many people, and I actually got recommended a couple of channels as well last week in my comments. So you can also go back and check the comments from Tommy. I think it was you who recommended some meditation people who do meditation as well here on YouTube. And there are many, you know, and they're doing this for free, and it's absolutely amazing. I mean, really, we're so blessed now that we can just jump on here to YouTube or go onto the internet and find so many amazing people just doing this because they want to give this experience to other people, you know. And it's the same reason why I opened this YouTube channel myself. You know, I had learned all these amazing practices through all the amazing people on YouTube, and through Deepak Chopra, through Jason Stevenson, but more importantly through Maya Fence. In fairness, with she was the main source for me to fall into yoga and to fall into meditation. So I really have to give her an amazing shout out. And she has a channel here on YouTube also. It's called Mondays with Maya, and she does little short vlogs on a Monday. So I will be definitely adding links to her channel in the description below, and a fantastic interview that she did as well, all about how she came into yoga. And she was also a classical pianist also, so she created all her own music in her yoga practice, which I think is so powerful. And I really, that's why as well I'm really into the power of, doing a mantra out loud or even mentally really doesn't make a difference. But I think there's something very powerful by doing it out loud, by witnessing your own breath, getting in touch with your own voice, and also practicing meditation. So as you can see, there are so many ways to practice meditation. And now I'm going to get on to why. Well, my why was, I should start with that really, I suppose, was what I'd said earlier. I just fell into it. But after I fell into it, I realised that my health improved. I began to feel a lot more energy. Now, I would say in general, a high energy person. I always was a person who was always doing things and, really enjoying, I wasn't a person who enjoyed sitting down a lot. So what I learned from meditation was to be able to relax myself. This is what I really needed, was to be able to really relax myself without stimulants, without caffeine, to be like, what would I say? Now, when I say that, people are going to say, what does she mean by that? What I mean is that a lot of us, how we relax ourselves is by numbing ourselves, maybe drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, watching too much TV, maybe on the internet too much, we'll say whatever drug of choice, For me at that time, my relaxation was really going to Killarney, where I'm from, my hometown, and going out with my friends, maybe going out for a couple of drinks, and that for me was, this is relaxation. And, really what I learned from meditation was that it was the total opposite. Relaxation is really just stilling the mind and stilling the body and getting in touch with our senses. And I think the yoga was what brought me there, as I said earlier. So my why for meditation was really to be able to calm me as a person. And I may come across in the videos as a very calm person, but I can tell you that I'm not a naturally calm person. This is something that I really have to work on. I am a very fiery, energetic person. I'm extroverted, believe it or not, even though now I've learned to really value my own time. And I really had to master that in the past couple of years, because I've been at home because I've had 2 other children since I had started meditating in 2008. And that's where my whole meditation practice got turned upside down. So my why again for meditation, and then for bringing mindfulness meditation into it, was because I had 2 young kids, and I really found that being able to just practice meditation whenever I felt like it was something that I just couldn't do anymore. And it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. I was missing it, because that was my one source to be able to really bring my mind down, to relax my body, and to really just be, and to really just sense myself, to know what I'm feeling, and to just unwind and relax, I mean, isn't that all we all want, really? It's just to relax and unwind after a stressful day at work, or to, maybe a full day with our children. And to be totally honest with you, I have 2 toddlers. They're 2 and 3 at the moment, and I have a teenager as well. She's 15, and my days are hectic. And I remember at that stage when I had Rose first, I was meditating in the morning, and I was meditating in the evening, and I was meditating whenever I felt like it, because I was not working. Right up to I had Rose, I had worked 3 jobs at one stage. I was very busy. And prior to that, I'd been studying, and prior to that, I had been working in a solicitor's office where I was doing legal secretary work. Prior to that, I was working in the technology factory. So, I was always a very busy person, and the meditation was the one way that I was really able to calm down and relax. The yoga was fantastic for physically moving stress, and we'll say, to be able to calm my body down. And then the meditation was the way I relaxed my mind, and I got in touch with my senses. How am I feeling, These are the questions that I'd ask myself in meditation. So as I say, I'm going to bring mindfulness into it now. So what happened was I had a crash. Then we'll say I was fine when I had Rose, but then when I actually fell pregnant with Alexander, and Rose started teething, she was 3 months when I fell pregnant with Alexander, and I was breastfeeding her at the time. And I was grand, I was flying, and we were traveling. We ended up traveling to Moscow at the time, and I flew. I was grand, everything was dandy. And then we returned to Ireland. So my husband's from Russia, if I haven't mentioned that before. And what I found was that September, my family were home from Australia. I'm from Ireland myself, but I have 3 sisters and a brother, and some of my family had come home from Australia and I'd met up with them, and I was heavily pregnant. I was, I think, 7 or 8 months. No, I was 6 months, I think, at the time. It was August. And Rose had just started teething also. So it was really sleepless nights and waking up later in the morning, because I was basically just waking when she'd wake. So the meditation just fell out the window. As if I can, I'm sure a lot of parents will agree with me out there that if you've been practicing meditation, or people who are practicing meditation with years, that when you have small kids, that this is where you can get challenged with keeping up your meditation practice. So what actually happened was, I was still using meditation, we'll say, when Rose slept through the day. Now keep in mind, I was a full-time mom, so I was at home. I didn't have a job to go to, so it was very easy for me to be able to just work my life, or work my meditation around my life, you know. But this is where I got the idea that, you know, this is where other people could really tailor it into their lives also. Now, as I have said earlier, I don't think there's any excuses for people even down to working 3 jobs, because I've done that myself, and I still manage to consistently do a morning meditation and an evening meditation. So I really don't think there's any room for saying that it's not possible. But of course, if you're starting out, like I said earlier, maybe the best way to do it is in the evening, you know, and then build it up to maybe bring it into the morning also. But for parents out there, and I'm not saying that parents get an extra, how would you say, star or something to be able to not meditate in the morning, but the reality is it's just not possible. When you maybe have 2 kids in a row, or you're a mom or a father of multiples, we'll say maybe you have twins, or maybe you have 2 or 3 kids and they're all under the age of 3, it's going to be hard to be able to fit a meditation practice in. Let's face it here, I just want to keep this realistic. I don't want to put out a bullshit video here, or if I was doing this live, this was the attitude I was going to have, is that there's no way I'm going to turn around and say, yes, you can just meditate, because it's not practical, you know. But what I will say is that what I did found help for me was through all those teething stages. And I remember I came on here to YouTube. This was how I started. I started with food, but then I started with trying to get back on track with my yoga. At first I was blogging about it, and then I was talking about it here on YouTube, because I really wanted to hold myself accountable and to be able to really push myself to do it, even though I had young kids, you know. And what I found was that I just started doing the breath work in the morning, because that way I could start to breathe, like I went back to, like I'd said at the start. So I was using the 12-second breath. And then through the day, whenever the kids napped, I would put on meditation for them going to sleep. So I was introducing meditation to them, and then I would sit and meditate myself. So it was quite easy for me to slot back in, because I had previous experience. So where mindfulness comes in is, what I want to get across here is for any person out there who's really busy, maybe with many children, or for somebody who's just very stressed out in their work as well, you know, maybe they want to bring a mindfulness practice into it. What I did find helped for me was just becoming aware of the breath, like I just said there. First thing in the morning, even if we'll say Rose was in her crib and she was crying, okay, and she needed her mom, you know, for milk, and maybe Alexander later on, he was in his crib, because at one stage I had both of them in my room, because Rose was teething and he was newborn. And my husband was fantastic as well at the time. A lot of the time we slept in separate rooms, and he would be with Alexander and I would be with Rose. So what I found was, yes, just really concentrating on the breath. And this is where mindfulness meditation really comes in. And if you are, we'll say a mom, it'd be well worth maybe checking out a mindfulness course. And what I did at the time to really be able to express how I was feeling, because I was so tired and I had a lot of I'd say pent up energy, you know, that I was more kind of aggravated that I couldn't get my meditation in, because I knew how beneficial it was. And this is what I'm trying to get across here. I knew that I needed to meditate. As I've said earlier, I was always a very busy minded person, and I'm always a person to go. And of course, when you have young babies, you're going to be on the go. And you're going to be busy minded, because you're constantly worrying if they're fed enough, and if they're getting enough sleep, and you're kind of not getting enough sleep, you know. And then you're worried, if you have older children as well, you're worried about them, and you're trying to keep your relationship going. So really it was one big whirlwind for me. I have to be totally honest about it. And so for me, getting a meditation practice was so important because I knew that was the balance that I needed, because I really didn't have time to do a yoga practice. And that was a real struggle for me because I was used to having that also, you know. So yeah, just going back to the breath and practicing mindful eating. And you're probably thinking, how would you do that with young kids? You'd be amazed. What I would do normally was I didn't eat until I had them fed. So this is a few tips for some parents out there if you want to know how you can practice this. What I usually did was I fed them, and you know, with young children, normally when they're fed and they've played and they're happy, usually they'll go down for a nap, and I really worked hard on training them to go at the same time. And now this did take time, and I googled everything you could think of on how to train babies. So this is the kind of person as well that I am, you know. I won't just you know, take things for granted, like, oh, this child is going to sleep at that time, that child is going to sleep at that time, because I knew for my own well-being and for my own mental well-being that I needed to find a way that I could get the kids relaxed and get them to sleep. So I was very lucky over in Canada. My cousin, his wife, is a sleep consultant, and her name is Trina. So I got onto Trina through Facebook, and she was giving me all the tips and tricks on how to be able to train the two kids to be able to sleep at the same time, and how to get them to sleep through the night. And with all her help, in fairness to her, I managed to get them to sleep through the night, you know, except for, we'll say, the teething moments, which are normal. You know, you're going to have those moments where you're going to be up and there's nothing you can do about it. But what I will say is getting back to mindful eating. So during the day when they would have their naps, this is where I would mindfully prepare my food. I did not care, and I had many videos up on YouTube or Facebook also. I was doing a lot of Facebook lives or videos at the time, just to really hold myself accountable and to let myself know that I'm human, that I'm a mom, yes, and that the house wasn't perfect. You know, the house was in a heap in many of those videos. If you ever want to go back and watch them, maybe go over to Facebook. And you know, so the house was in a mess, and I chose basically, okay, I do the washing, I do the dishes, but I chose to mindfully wash the dishes. So whatever amount of time that took me. But the most important practice for me at the time was mindful eating. And because my energy levels had been low from the lack of sleep and roast eating, I went on a juicing cleanse. So I was also doing that on Facebook and on YouTube here when I started. So this was all, again, building up my energy, getting my serotonin balanced as well, you know, all the hormones, because let's face it, when you have two kids in a row, your hormones are going to be disrupted, you know. And I was later as well having my kids, you know, so this is all another story, which I promised here on this, that I was going to give my own experience. So I hope that this is going to be helpful for new moms or moms out there who are struggling or who are finding it difficult to relax, you know. And I really found the mindful eating and just creating the juice, you know, and that's why I used to put on the camera as well, to really mindfully be present in the moment. So when I was doing those videos, I was really trying to be present, you know, with what I was eating, like speaking about the different vegetables I was using, the different fruits, and I was drinking them on the videos. And then after I'd switch off the video, maybe I'd finish the juice, or I'd create food on a video, and then I'd sit down and mindfully eat it. So really my whole journey here on YouTube has all been a practice around my meditation. Even when I felt like that my meditation was falling off, we'll say I was falling off my practice, I still tried to find a way, even when I didn't look at my best, we'll say, or I didn't have a clue how to even create videos. It was really all just throwing myself into it, you know. Like, my husband was fantastic. He's very technical, so he was basically able to tell me how to put on the camera, hit the record button and upload a video, and he probably did it for me the first couple of times, and then after that I'm sure it was fairly basic, you know. I just threw on my phone, created the video, and you know, I wasn't editing, which I still don't edit, and I just upload, and it was very simple. So really my whole lifestyle and my whole journey so far, it's all been about just keeping myself accountable for holding space for myself, you know. And really meditation has been the number one thing for me for that. Yoga and eating mindfully, getting back to the mindful eating. And the mindful eating is really good for moms, who are stressed out, who haven't found a meditation practice yet, or who are struggling to even start to meditate. And what I would say to the struggling moms, or to anybody out there who is very stressed out in their jobs, who maybe have 1 or 2 jobs, or maybe just have a full-time job that they absolutely hate, mindful eating, even if you have to go out to your car and do that, or if you have to sit by yourself, just to really taste the food, slowly eating the food. It's so amazing for, sensing the food, smelling the food, tasting the food, and digesting the food. And I think when we mindfully eat, it also affects our own well-being. And again, back to why meditate. I mean, we know that meditation is amazing for decreasing depression, for decreasing high blood pressure, for decreasing anxiety. We know it's amazing for the cardiovascular system. We know it's amazing for increasing our focus. It's increasing our happy hormones. It increases, our relaxation. It just overall enhances our well-being. So mindful eating as well can be a meditation practice, and you are enhancing all of the above also when you're mindfully eating. Because when you think about it, if you're a busy worker or if you're a busy mom, most of the time you're going to be just throwing back your food. And that's what I found myself. I was like, I have no time to meditate. I have no time to eat. I'm struggling to get the house cleaned. I'm struggling to get everything done because, as I say, these weren't children with 2 or 3 years apart. There was just the bare year. Rose was born on the 18th of December and Alex was born the 27th of December. A year and 9 days, I think it was later. So I was really, just thrown into it. And there was a 12-year gap, we'll say, from my first child. So I had a whole 12 years of where I literally, all I had to ever worry about was to go to work, or to study. And in that free spaces of time when I had found the meditation, we'll say in 2008, was just basically whenever I had the free time, I was able to meditate. So of course I felt a huge difference, after I'd had small kids and been so busy, and the volume of washing had increased, the volume of work had increased, and the volume of people in my home had increased. And to be present for them and to be a good mother, I knew that, I had to put myself first. And a lot of people would probably think, oh, how can you do that as a new mom, But let me tell you, it's so important. Okay, my appearance probably wasn't up to scratch all of the time. My home wasn't up to scratch all of the time. My well-being probably wasn't up to scratch all the time. But I can tell you, when I consistently practice meditation, or when I consistently just focused on getting at least 1 meal a day into me mindfully and holding myself accountable by putting that up on Facebook, or recording it for YouTube, it really did help me. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go and do that, record it, or hold yourself accountable. You don't need to. The only person really it's important to hold yourself accountable to is yourself, your own well-being, because you know what your levels of stress are, and you know the reasons why you want to meditate. Now, and also I want to speak about why meditate. If we'll say you're a very active person, or you're a very go-getting person, and we'll say that you have a purpose, okay, that there's something that you want to achieve, then meditation is also very beneficial for you. It's beneficial for everybody, but I'm just kind of going through the different ideas here. Because really, a person who meditates, and it's proven now scientifically, when they measured the minds of Buddhist monks and the minds of people who don't meditate, there's a big difference. And as we know, we're not Buddhist monks, but then when they measured people who started to meditate, they found that they had more calm and that they were able to focus more on one thing at a time and become a lot more productive out of it. So really, people who meditate are more productive. People who meditate suffer less with anxiety. Their decreased depression also. Meditation is absolutely fantastic for all of the above. And I remember for many years I was trying to share meditation with very close friends of mine, and they would kind of fob me off because they thought it was some new age hippy-dippy weird thing that I was after getting into, and still some of them probably still kind of think, what is she on about, but to be totally honest, because I knew it worked, And then at certain stages in my own family, I had sisters that started to meditate, and I also had friends, that had increased stress in their lives, and that now, actually one of them I spoke to yesterday, she had said to me, you know what, Melissa, meditation is absolutely amazing. I think it's the best thing that I've ever done. Now, in saying that, she was new to meditation and she started with a guided meditation. And she decided to go out of the home and to start with other people. So this is where you would find maybe a meditation center in your area, or somebody who is giving meditation, practicing meditation classes in groups. And this is the way she found meditation. She went out there and she started practicing in a group. And of course, collectively, it's also amazing. And the benefits that she said she found from it, and now she's starting to bring that practice into her own home also. And also mindfulness, even just practicing with her son, or just with her mindful eating. So really, meditation can go anywhere. So you can do it with your breath, you can do it with your food, you can practice mindfulness with your children also. Just even for me personally, what I've found, practicing meditation and practicing mindful awareness. Now this is a little bit different. This is like meditation in action. When we practice mindfulness awareness with our children, just even when they're having a tantrum, just being able to stay in our calm, and to be able to breathe through it. This is what I found is so helpful. Or even just reciting a mantra, I am, so hum in your mind. And sometimes, a child, when they get into a tantrum, you can't understand what they're saying because they get so, we'll say, in the moment. Because kids are naturally in the moment, they're very present. And so when they want something, or if something's not going their way, you're going to know about it. Whether that's something amazing or whether that's something terrible. And they're going to scream from the top of their lungs. And, let's face it, if you're tired and you have many kids, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get stressed sometimes. And this is all a normal part of motherhood and fatherhood, So I just want to get that out there too. But there are ways that we can start to deal with it, But I really feel that when we start to take the time, those precious moments when we can sit down and have a cup of tea maybe and mindfully drink it, or we have a meal and we mindfully eat it, or when our child is having a tantrum, we can mindfully breathe through it. And, after even maybe say 12 seconds of just mindfully breathing, and then start to really become deep at listening and really try to be able to break through the noise and understand what the child wants, because usually they'll start to calm down after a couple of seconds or maybe a minute or so, because they can't keep the high pitch going more longer than that. And you start to realize what it is they need or they want. Now obviously a lot of times they're going to say what they need or they want, but sometimes with some toddlers, which I have experienced, like one of them is fine, Alexander. He'll bring you by the hand and he'll show you what he wants, or he'll point to what he wants, or he'll say what he wants. But sometimes with Rose, she can become very demanding. I have to be totally honest about it. And she can be very bossy as well, because she's the older between the two of them. And she's also the middle child, as well. And you know what they say about middle children, see me, hear me. Now, I don't know if that's absolutely accurate, but I do know something, that Rose has got a lot of attention. She's definitely not anyway getting less attention than Alex or Ivana, my eldest. But in saying that, when she has a tantrum, by God, you could probably hear her in the next city. And that's the truth about it. She really does give it loads, and the lungs really do start to flare up, and the voice is just out. And sometimes it gets so frantic that you really can't understand what she's saying, and that's where the breath really comes in, and to just be able to slowly breathe. Because in fairness, when you're in that moment, especially if you've other kids, if it's one, yes, you can focus on it, but if you've another child in, and then they start to see the other child getting tantrums, they can kind of start to moan too for attention. So that's what I've noticed, myself personally as a mother. So breathing through it, and then just deep listening, and just knowing that this is totally normal and this is not going to last forever. Thank God that I have an older child, that I know that I had all this awareness, which really helped. That knowing that the tantrum stage, which Ivana had them too when she was young, that they don't last forever, and it's just certain stages. And really it's all about the child expressing themselves. So really just listening. And then if it's something that it's in routine, maybe it's something that you can bring into your routine to save the tantrum. Like maybe that maybe after a meal that they like to play with a certain toy, or they, you know, they like a certain drink. You know, you can kind of have things placed up so that it kind of, will say, puts a stop to the tantrum. So anyway, I've gone off track completely and gone into parenting. So maybe I'll do another video on parenting again, which I have many videos on that as well. I have a playlist here on Mindful Mondays where I speak about parenting. For me personally, at the moment, meditation is where I just mindfully eat. I do my breath work in the morning and I fall asleep and do maybe a body scan. I let somebody else guide me, or I guide myself, you know, depending on how tired I am at that moment. Like tonight for sure, I know I will throw on a guided meditation with a body scan. But if it's during the day, we'll say when the kids are quiet, now they're at the stage where Rose understands meditation. And this is also amazing for anybody who wants to be a parent out there or who has children. You can also involve your kids into meditation. Now, I've said earlier that I introduced it at the early stages while I was pregnant. When they were young, when they were born, they had meditation music playing in the background. And even now, Rose, she will ask for meditation. So I play meditation music throughout the day and she knows this is relaxed time. Alexander still doesn't really understand. Even though he enjoys meditation music, he won't sit down and just relax to meditation. Whereas Rose, she's interested, you know, and she knows the different poses, the meditation, the mudra, and she knows how to breathe, because these are all things that she has learned from me. So she's modeling me basically. Now, I'm not saying that she'll sit there for 5-10 minutes. Absolutely not. She may give it a minute. She may give it 2 minutes some days. Whatever she gives, I'm totally happy with. But it is a lovely way to introduce your kids to meditation. So if there are any parents out there, this is something as well that you can really introduce, you know, to your kids while they're young. Now, with mindfulness also, you know, what I found is very helpful. We'll say during the day, just placing focus on certain objects. You know, that could be a candle, or it could be in the evening also. Say that you just want to sit in a chair and you want to monitor your breath, we'll say, and you don't want any music, or you don't want, say, no big deal. So maybe you can choose an object in your home, like we'll say if you have a plant, you could choose that, or you could choose a candle, and you just simply start breathing, keep your eyes open. So this is fantastic as well for new meditators also. Like I was saying earlier, when you're starting to meditate, and this is a mindfulness practice of meditation, when you're keeping your eyes open. Another good way is to focus on something. So keeping your eye on one object. So that could be a living object like a plant. You could light a candle, a tea light, where you're just focusing your eyes on that, we'll say. Or it could be just anything, a picture on the wall. It could be anything that you put your mind to, you know. Maybe something, obviously something that you're going to enjoy looking at. It could also just be sitting out in your garden, you know, watching a tree gently moving, you know, the flexibility of the tree, we'll say, even if it's a little bit windy or whatever. You can really choose anything. For me, even, I have found at night time, you know, sitting on the edge of my bed, because the window, will say, is facing me when I sit on my bed. If it's raining, because it rains a lot here in Ireland, just looking at the rain when my kids were very young, you know, when they were sleeping, and maybe I didn't want to put on meditation music. So just simply just sitting, you know, watching the rain on the window and listening to it at the same time, and practicing my breath, just going in through the nose and out through the mouth, but all the time feeling it expand my chest and expand my tummy area. So I really could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, and I hope that I gave you some benefits. And I'm just going to check here that I leave out anything. No, I've said when to meditate, how to start meditating, and I've kind of given you my own experiences also. And I'm really sorry that this live didn't go to plan, and for some reason, just, I don't know, because we've changed the computer system, whereas my old computer is upstairs. But my husband was sleeping, so I couldn't ask him to use the other computer. And it was with that computer I normally use this webcam. But for some reason, the computer down here is just not working on it, because we switched the computer, the Mac, upstairs, and this is a different computer. So again, I'm sorry that I didn't get to do this live, and I hope that this will actually upload, because it's like 59 minutes. I'd say it's going to take a couple of hours. It'll probably be Tuesday by the time it uploads. And if you have any questions, or if you feel like I didn't speak about something enough, here, because I really treated this like it was alive. I just kind of went from one thing to another, and that's how I roll anyway. I'm not somebody who will, how we say, be editing maybe in the future, but at the time, my lifestyle just doesn't allow me to do so. You know, I'm a very busy mom, and my daughter has finished school now. Rose has stopped play school, so she's off, and she has chickenpox as well, and we're very busy over the weekend. I was in Kerry. My aunt actually had passed away, so I was down for her funeral, and I also got to call to my dad because it was Father's Day. I'd like to say happy Father's Day as well to all the dads watching, if there are any watching this video. But yeah, it's been a hectic week with Rose. Now she's on the other side of the chickenpox, you know, she's starting to feel better. But last week and the week before, it was pretty hectic. And the funny thing was, I'm just going to finish up by saying this. My son, he goes to play school 2 mornings a week, and Rose was going 5 mornings a week. And that was since January. Prior to that, they were at home with me. But and the reason I sent Alexandra in for the 2 mornings was basically so that I could kind of catch up in the home here to get it somewhere normalised and to be able to get myself together also. And I'd been doing lots of studies, and I just wanted to have a little bit of time to be able to get to manage things better, you know. But anyway, what actually happened was there was a breakout of the chickenpox in that play school, and it was actually in Alexander's class, and this was like going back, I'd say maybe over 7 weeks ago now. And Alexander had come home sick, so I was full sure that he was after getting the chickenpox, but he actually didn't. He'd no spots or anything, but I kept him off anyway, and he got better. It was just turned out to be cold, and then he got chesty, and there was so much sickness in the house. My husband had been chesty, and I had got sick as well. It kind of just went through the house like a whirlwind. And lo and behold, anyway, Rose ended up getting the chickenpox a couple of weeks later, which was last week and this week. But now, or sorry, last week and the week before, she was after getting the chickenpox. This week now, she's coming along fine, thank God. But so yeah, it's been a hectic time, you know, and really I should have been more prepared for this live this evening, as I haven't done a live. I think the last live that I actually did was with Lily. And it was all new to me again, setting it up, and I'd forgotten that we changed the computer. Like the original computer here was a Mac, and we'd moved that upstairs, and that was the computer I was working with when I used to do my previous lives, and this webcam was actually on that. And then my husband, what he did was he built this computer himself, and it's on the wall. It just kind of looks like he put it on the wall basically. So he had plugged in the camera for me into the device up here, but for some reason I just couldn't get it to actually switch on the camera. So basically if I'd went on, you wouldn't have seen me, you know, it was blank. So I don't know what went wrong with it. So anyway, hopefully I'm going to get this fixed, because I really want to start doing lives again, because over the kids being off now, maybe the lives will be a better way for me to do Mindful Mondays. So I just want to make you aware of that as well, that I may start doing more lives than recorded videos. As I've said, Rose is off now, and Ivana's finished school as well, so I will be busy with the kids during the day. And if there are moments that I get free time on the weekends with my husband, he's also been working very hard 6 days a week, so on a Sunday it's kind of hard to record, because that's kind of our family time. So but if I do get time to record a video, I definitely will. And I'm recording this very late. It's actually 12 o'clock now here in Ireland at night, 12 p.m. So that's how determined I was to get this video up. So I'm going to say good night to you all, and probably expect maybe more lives from me is what I would say, once I get this little thing sorted. Whatever went wrong with it, I don't know. And I want to thank you all for joining me. And if you stayed till the end of this video, I really want to thank you so much. I'm so grateful for all the people who've subscribed to this channel, and really to the people who've been consistently supporting me for a long time now, you know, over a year. I want to give a special thank you to Clifford, and to Creative Queen, and to Kiara. You all know who you are. I'm going to mention your names: Brandy, and Alexandra, and who else is there? Who am I leaving out? Harry. There's so many of you that consistently, and Anne, there's so many of you who consistently comment on my videos every week, and I always know the same people, and Armani as well. and Alex over in the gaming world. So there's so many of you who consistently always comment, on my channel, and I really do appreciate that, because I know it takes you time to come over and to check out my videos. Also, Carry On Jeff and John, I want to say thank you to you, and to Basna, what is his channel? Basna, oh, I'm sorry, but his first name anyway is Basna, so I want to say thank you to you as well. You've been very supportive to me, and to Zach, and to Mindshore, also Ali over Mindshore, he's fantastic. And there's so many amazing YouTubers, and Jessica Oakley as well, she's amazing, a supporter, and 5 Elements. Oh, there's so many of you, I could just keep going and going and going, and that's the truth. And if I'm leaving anybody out, please forgive me. I will definitely do a shout out video, because there's so many amazing channels that I enjoy watching, and so many people that I've connected through Evan Carmichael's channel and through Lily Maw also, so it's only fair to mention both of those also. Amazing people. And also through Ralph Smart's videos, there's Metaphysical Mike, and many other people, TY Speaks, there's so many amazing YouTubers that I've learned about through either Ralph's channel or through Evan's channel, and then through our own, we'll say, connecting channels, that we all kind of subscribe to each other's channels. So anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you, as it's very late here, and I really hope that this video uploads. And I'm so disappointed that I didn't get to go live, but at the same time I feel good that I still got to make this video, and I hope that the lighting is okay, because as I say, I'm just sitting here in front of the computer really on my phone, and I've no special lighting or anything. So anyway, with all that said and done, just remember that your presence matters as much as mine, and that I really, really appreciate you, and I can't wait to speak to you all again very soon. Bye for now.